Welcome back for yet another episode of Light Beer, Dark Money. I'm Sean Noble. Chris Clements will be with us on our upcoming episodes. The topic of the day is Omicron. So the new variant of the COVID is creating quite a stir. Interestingly, in South Africa, it's not creating as much of a stir, which is where it was first reported. Turns out now that there was a couple cases in Europe that were actually ahead of the South African case. So that shows that it's spread in Europe already. It is, what's today? Today is December 2nd, and we've had a case reported in the U.S. and California. There's been cases or a case at least in Canada. But the question is this something that we should fear as much as everyone is saying we should? Not everyone, but is it warranting the travel bans? Do we have to freak out about all the different things that could happen? Are we going to head for another shutdown? The stock market, on the news of this a few days ago, dropped 900 points. So some things, definitely there's reaction. So the question is whether this is a proportional response to what the risk is and the threat. And my argument is it's not. And I think most experts are saying, hey, just take a breath. We don't know anything about this yet, or don't know enough about it yet. And what we haven't heard a lot about is what do we know? In South Africa, none of the cases have led to hospitalization. None have led to death at this point. And in fact, the symptoms are more mild than normal COVID or the Delta variant. And so is it more transmissible? It might be. But as far as we can tell at this point, the symptoms are less severe than other variants of COVID. And if it's more transmissible, one of the health experts made the point that this might be our way to get to herd immunity because it's less severe but more transmissible, and let's make sure everyone gets it. Because I think at the end of the day, this, in my opinion, is not necessarily ever going to end. I don't know what people are waiting for. The people who have been vaccinated, they've gotten their booster, they wear their mask everywhere. What are they waiting for? Because it's not going to end. So it's just an issue of what is going to be the new normal and what are we able to tolerate from a risk standpoint. I think that's going to be a personal decision, or should be. So the mandates don't make any sense because that takes away the personal decision component of this thing. And the fact is that we know, there's just no question, that this is not random. The people who are getting this and having really bad effects, either hospitalization or death, have some things in common. Either one or more. They're either overweight, they have a vitamin D deficiency, or they have some other comorbidity. And under the CDC data now, the average is 4.2 comorbidities in COVID deaths. So it's not random. It's not just, if you're walking down the street and you just, I'm going to get it and I'm going to die. No. If you are obese, if you don't take your vitamin D or get outside and get some sunshine, if you don't exercise, if you eat like crap and you have, maybe a heart issue or diabetes or some other comorbidity, you're definitely at higher risk. So for the vast majority of people, we have to figure out, okay, so what's the new normal? What are we going to live with? And can we stop with the fear porn? Because if there's anything, the fact that they called this thing Omicron, as Alex pointed out, sounds like a transformer. My wife said the same thing. It's like, let's come up with the scariest terms we can. And it just plays into the whole idea that we have to bring people into fear to deal with this, which is just That's not science. So I would say let's watch and see what happens. But if you're vaccinated, great. If you're not, that's your decision. If you want to get the booster, I mean, right now, the data shows that there's probably not that much of a risk to get the booster. Particularly if you're over a certain age. I mean, I'm a big proponent that if you're older or have any of the health issues that can be susceptible to severe problems, get the vaccine and get the booster. I mean, why not? Because it's less likely. You're definitely, if you have issues, you're definitely more likely to suffer from COVID than you are from the vaccine. Whereas with young people, I think it's just the opposite. I have a number of kids, as you know, I have lots of kids, but of my two youngest, almost 3 and one that's 6 months, if they were even had the vaccine available for kids that age, at this point I would pass because they both had COVID. It was like a mild cold or less for them, and they've got some natural immunity that I think will protect them for months and months to come. Anyway, Omicron, what's next? I don't know. Might be megadeath. I don't know. Who knows what they'll call the next one. It'll have to be worse. It'll have to be more scary sounding than Omicron if Omicron doesn't come out as deadly as they, I don't want to say it as they hope, but as they might say it or imply that it is. But I would say you can mitigate your own risk. You're all adults. You know how to do this. Enjoy your holidays with whoever you want to, with whatever protocols you want to put in place, if you have protocols in place. Because at the end of the day, we're going to be living with this for a long time, so we may as well get used to it now. So from all of us here at Light Beer Dark Money, remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and listen to us on any of the podcast platforms that you listen to. Have a great day, everyone. See ya.